Of that. There's no playing around.
Yeah, me too. Good evening, ladies and gents. We are live with TV's Will Heron. I am Shmuel Buckman. Dave Sauer will be joining us in a little bit.
Dave Sarah again. I think I've
David,
talked to him before. He was one of the reporters of the Dabbleverse. I was so pissed.
Dave and I share. We do the show. We usually do a show once a week together live.
Oh, he's cool, man. I would just give him a hard time.
He was very excited to see you. And he just sent me a message saying he's not home yet.
Sweet.
So our plan for tonight is we want to talk a little Rekieta. We want to talk a little bit of Will's clipping experience, how Will got into the Dabbleverse, and then we're going to talk. I want to talk the Carlos Ray DeVito beef, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
All right. The only problem with that one is that all the clips are about 30 minutes long. So I will try to show some clips, but I think most of the people are going to know what we're talking about. So
I think I just put one up from a couple of days ago of KB smashing Ray DeVito. It's only like 10 minutes long. So if that helps the team.
If you have it, let's do it. But it was more the
shameless plug.
But I was more with the Carlos versus Ray as opposed to KB. KB shits on Ray all the time. It's like not new. And so sorry, let me take that down. So I don't know. I've always been Team Ray. And I did not know that there was a team. I did not know. I know. The Ray Ball watcher. I did not know that there was a team. I did not know there was a Team Carlos. I actually didn't know that these two guys were involved in a brouhaha.
Oh,
and then I found out, and then I talked to Ray the other day. He's like, I'm not a cartoon character. And I said I hadn't seen the stream, and then he asked me, he said, oh, take a look at the stream. And then I said, do you mind if I talk about it? Because I avoid talking about him other than to say really good things. You know, I have my feelings about Ray. I think he's a pretty good guy.
Ray?
But I think he's a good guy. I just think that, he's a little misunderstood in certain ways.
How? Jesus, please. You have to explain because, wow.
I think he's got a brain injury. I mean, honestly.
Okay, now we're on the same page. I would agree.
And so that's the deal. And I'm just going to say, if he's watching us, Ray, don't watch the show. All right.
Don't watch the show, Ray.
We'll
push
talk
the X button.
And Ray and I talk all the time, not generally about this. Ray didn't put me up to this. He didn't ask me to do get Will on. And I don't think you're one of Ray's fans. And that's kind of why I was asking you to do this, because I wanted an honest opinion, and I get a little, I get a little, what's the word? Whatever the word is I'm looking for. I'm a little biased towards him. Yeah, I'm pathetic. But I also think that he, what it is like, I don't understand his life. I don't understand. My
Ray doesn't understand his life.
My fascination with this particular part of the Dabbleverse has always been economics, right? It's always blown me away that guys can make a living off this niche in the internet that started with Stuttering John. And so
I think a very small percentage make a living. I think people make money, but like to make a solid like $50K a year to be able to live, I think that's a very minute percentage.
No, it is. It's
Ray's not one.
It's Carl, it's Shuli, it's KB.
Yeah.
And Tukey now, I guess, is making
Tukey. I love it.
I do too. Is making money on this. Melton certainly is.
Yeah.
Whether that's Dabbleverse or not, is an argument. I don't know how other people are doing. I read an article in the Wall Street Journal last year, and I don't know if I have my numbers right, but I think they said there were 44,000 podcasts, and
that was then. I bet there's more now.
Right, and about 400 of them made money, so about 1%, less than 1.1%.
I believe that.
and the rest don't do it. And I do want to point this out that KB makes a living, number 12 baby, but KB is about $25,000 or $30,000 behind my other ball washing friend, Shuli. So there you go.
But
Shuli
does it for himself though. He doesn't have to split it, right?
Well, he does, because he pays everyone that comes on. Right?
So he doesn't more those than what he pays out. What does he pay, like $50 to $100 per guest?
I thought it was 100 to 150. But look, I could be wrong. I don't really know, but I was just using rando numbers, and I was looking at about, I think, 150 to 175 a show was what I was thinking he was paying out. So,
and you use John's Neglected Cats Twitter account to base the numbers?
He's gone. No, Dave Sarah actually was able to get me the numbers. There were year-end YouTube reporting numbers, and he got them. They're in different, they're all in different categories. So they have the comedy podcast. I guess that's where Kevin's number 12. There's the entertainment podcast section, which I think Shuli was number 9. And so it's hard to compare them head to head because they're in two different categories. I think overall Shuli beats KB
money
in the amount of money. Yeah. So I mean, you could, and then you get into it, right? Like, how much does each pay? And up until how long ago he was paying Adam 40 or 50 grand a year. So
wow, that's wild to think.
That's a lot of money. And the other thing too is I was talking to the Aussie guy who I'm sure you know.
Of course.
And
I don't know if he knows me. I know who he is.
He was saying that when people send in a super chat on an Apple phone or an iPhone, that he gets about 50%.
Oh, wow. They take that much.
Yeah, because it's Google takes a whole bunch, and then Apple takes another fee. Oh. That's why Melton's I usually wear a hat because I'm balding and my head shines off the light.
Whatever, man. I ain't judging you.
Yeah, so that's why Melton Super Tips thing.
That's smart.
Is such a great idea. The only problem with Super Tips though is you have to go outside the system. So it's not like you can just lean over and send a chat.
Right.
And, a super
you could
chat.
also lose your channel. If like TOS or like YouTube gets involved, there's a lot of things in there where they can say, you're supposed to just use our system and yada, yada. Well, and I know there's issues with the voices and things like that. So
no,
I agree with you, but there's some gray area.
I think that stuff's a lot of bullshit. He had to get it approved through Google and YouTube before he could use it.
Oh, wow. I didn't know this.
They're totally in on it. And
good.
Given that they're so under, and there are actually other systems that do the same thing besides Super Tips and other companies that have it. But Stripe is the backbone of the system. So it's a legit, multi-million-dollar company with backing.
The process of the money.
Right. Stripe is the backbone of it, which is what YouTube really cares about the most. And what do you call it? Sorry, I was just reading a chat. I made a joke about
podcast too, with Dan.
Yeah, we'll get there, Dan.
I love Dan. Every time I go on his show, it's like something crazy happens.
I've never been on his show. I did
he's trouble.
I did a review of him. He did a Gino show where he was commenting on Gino, and I thought he came across almost as much of a bigger asshole than Gino did in the show.
Wow,
and
that is impressive.
And Dan's been nice to me, and we've chatted back and forth since. And
is she still with Deb? Did she still go on the podcast? She was real nice.
I like Deb. I thought Deb was the best part of the show, but I don't know. Dan, answer us. Is Deb still with you?
I was there with Dan and freaking Rob Saul, and then Deb got in a fight with Rob Saul, and all hell was breaking loose, and then David Sarah showed up out of the blue, so. Every time I go on,
Sarah always calms things down. So that's his point. Yeah. Oh, they're on a break until January.
Cool.
So the chat says, but
they're cool.
Saul blows me away though. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know what Rob Saul is doing. Makes no sense to me.
Well,
It
good.
was
He's a
not real.
character. I like it. You know, he's like a one of the NPCs in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go to a quest for him for a little bit, then you go over here. Like, you know, there's a place for Rob, is what I'm saying. Just not.
Look, if there's a place for me, there's a place for Rob. He came on Ray's show last week, all hot.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
like
he was loaded, and he not loaded drunk, but loaded for fire. And he came on and boom, boom, boom. And it was so different than what he does with Stuttering John,
right?
Where it's, where he's such, he's like a puppy, like a beaten puppy with SJ. Yeah,
I agree.
Don't say that wrong. Okay, John. And then Liam came on, and Liam put him in his place, which was actually pretty funny. And,
I have no beef with Rob Saul. I've been on with him like a couple times, and it was always super nice to me. Very respectful, very chill. Like, Rob kind of seems like one of those guys that if you start trashing them, you'll get trashed. But if you don't, you're okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't think his trashing back, or whatever you want to call it, his comebacks are very good. Like with Liam, he must have called him fat 300 times.
Well, I understand being trashed. And then, you're not focused and you're saying the same thing over and over again, or, you know what I mean? You're not in your best game. I mean, don't start a fight trashed either. So there's that.
Right. And I developed I don't want to call it a friendship, but a détente with Joey C, because we went at it, and
we didn't fight with Joey C. What's wrong with you?
I was on Ray's show. He annoys me, the whole, like, I called him a grifter, and then he was like, go for it. And then I pointed out, what was going on and the stuff that he was doing. And it was nasty. There's actually some pretty good clips of it. And
do you have the clips of him in the Batman costume?
I've seen them, but I don't have them.
Yeah, do those. Those are awesome.
I am not.
I was like, I don't know about Joey. And then, like, he shot somebody's eye out. It was a trip. Like, I got like a random message on, I think it was Discord, and it was like, you need to check the latest Joey C video. And it was like Joey talking about shooting someone in the eye when he was 7. Oh, shooting an old lady in the eye when he was 7 years old, and he never forgave himself. And like, he just went on with his story over and over and over again. Oh man.
Joey's stories are interesting. The question is, are they real?
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
And that's Cupcake. Do you know about?
No, I know Cheeseburger.
American Cupcake. American Cupcake.
Yes.
Sort of
from the Dabbleverse.
Right. He's sort of the Joey C aficionado. He knows a lot about Joey C, and he's from Chicago, and he's put together the times when Joey C talks about his uncle or his godfather, or whoever that guy is, the big mobster, and when Joey C was in Chicago, and the dates don't seem to line up. shockingly enough. And
right.
My favorite Joey C, a stunt that Joey C pulled off was taking everybody at DabbleCon 2 to the minor league ball game, getting them seats behind home plate, and walked them through the clubhouse, and he was just the cock of the walk. And then it turned out a week later that he didn't do anything, that somebody went and bought the tickets, and one of his PayPals bought the tickets. But Joey was perfectly happy to let everybody think that he'd done it. So
I did not know that. Where did you get that information from? I thought it was all Joey's from his like previous minor league experiences as a manager, not like the coaching manager, but like the equipment manager.
Yeah, that was the story, but the truth turned out to be something else, and it's from Cardiff and Tukey and those guys. It's reliable, and we confronted Joey about it, and it's I did, and Joey's like, what fucking difference does it make who paid for it,
Yeah. So Joey, like, if he cons you, it's kind of your fault. I can see that. And like, it's never okay to get conned ever. And like, you're not the victim. You don't blame the victim. I understand that. But like, if you trust Joey kind of thing, like, And you didn't know Joey, and you gave him money, then that's kind of on you. Wasn't there like a
Well,
car
nobody
rental
steal.
scam
He didn't. He
recently?
didn't. He didn't steal any money from anybody. There was no victim in this. I mean, it was just
Oh no, that wasn't a scam.
somebody.
I understand.
Yeah, somebody
It was
arranged to buy
smoke
the
and mirrors.
tickets. Joey was taking the credit, and unfortunately, in the Dabbleverse or on the internet, however you did, somebody ratted him out. Whoever did it told somebody, and then they told somebody, and there you go.
Well, how about
So,
don't lie? Just be honest with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, why does everything have to be based on an untruth? It seems like it's like a house of cards all the time with the guy. Like, shouldn't it be honest, up front, down the middle? No, there shouldn't be any question.
well, that's what
There shouldn't be
I've
anything to
talked.
find out, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I've talked to him about that, and I've said to him, like, my
I'm not being
personal opinion
disrespectful
is
to Joey. Sorry.
he makes his life so much harder by doing this stuff. And a life lived with honesty is just so much easier. You don't have to constantly look over your shoulder. You don't have to worry about things. But Joey disagrees, I guess. And there's some things that and it's like with Joey, I don't know half the time what's true or what's false.
True.
And so that's the deal. Anyway, let's talk Cadillac. Did you see this? This is from Stalin.
Stallion. So I got to know this. Is it Stalin 19? Is it Stalin 19? Or is it Stallion 19? I do not know. I always say I can't even say it normally. Y'all tell me. Also, numero uno, Justin, you're awesome too. I see him a lot in steel toe shows. He destroys steel toe. He's got his name on the board. It's awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've always called it Stalin. Dave Sarah calls it Stallion.
Yeah. KB calls it Stallion or whatever the hell.
Right. Apparently, I don't know. I was getting the lore of Stalin, and
someone said that like Stalin's a girl, and it's like for Allison. So it's like Stallion for Allison. And I was like, I don't know about that. But I've never asked Stalin if he's a guy or a girl. I just assume it's a dude. I treat him like a dude.
Yeah.
Treat him like I treat you.
All right. Which is the latter? So it's the same. Is it Stallion or Stalin?
Or Stalin.
Stalin.
Oh, Chad Guzman. Oh, Dude's here too. All the Clippers are here. Where is So Thorough Joe Burrow? That dude, he's a punk. I'm just kidding. I love him.
I found out he and Stalin are blocked by a couple of shows, and I was like,
of course they are.
I was surprised. They're just clipping.
Doom, does he still have his wrench? Doom, do you still have your wrench for what was it?
Oh yeah, Joey's wrench.
Bedabbler show. We like all went on strike, and Doom got a wrench or something like that. It was a day.
Oh, with Bedabbler?
Yeah, we made sure that Doom got a wrench, and there was gonna be no peace until he got his wrench. Ask Doom, he'll tell you.
I don't want a wrench. I was listening to KB today, which is unusual for me, and I heard Stevie Lou call in and saying that he resigned his wrench from steel toe, and I'm like, nice. How do you resign something that you're not getting? Like, what are they going to do? Take a zero off your paycheck or add one? I mean, what's the what's the value?
Who remembers no wrench, no peace? Yeah, we were going to burn Bedabbler to the ground. He got very lucky that day. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Clippers get angry and bad things happen to your face. Tell him, Doom.
I've never seen him get angry.
Oh, no. Doom's crazy as hell.
Oh, no, yeah. I meant Bedabbler. I've never seen Bedabbler.
Oh, no. He's cool as hell, too.
He is cool. I was in Vegas last year at Hackmania, and like I didn't think anybody knew me or.
Oh, you went to Hackmania last year? Was it?
Yeah, I did. May 30th, so it's probably the weekend just before, and it was crazy because it was hot, man. It was like,
yeah, I bet
he had picked the weekend because. It was going to be cool, like it was towards the end of the spring and the summer, so it would be warm, but not as hot. Bad. And we got hit with a heat wave, but it was tons of fun.
Just lots of fun.
What was fun? Like talking to Melton, like talking to Carl, all those people. Like what was
the
the deal?
podcast? I don't know really. I've met Carl. I don't really know Carl. I know Patrick, but now I know Patrick from what do you call it? I know Patrick from having gone to Hackamania and talked to him, and then he
What was he like? Was he cool?
Yeah, he was cool. He was my chauffeur. I was his chauffeur at Dabblecon 2, basically. And then I was in Vegas. I went out west. I went to Bryce and Zion and all that. And I landed like on the 7th of September in Vegas, and I flew out on the 14th. And he took my wife and I out to dinner on the 14th. Because I had asked him, I had left my Hackamania poster in the rental car. So I'd asked him if he had another one. And I said, yeah. And he was like, oh, maybe we could do dinner. And I'm like, okay. Like, I was really surprised. Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
So I never had problems with him. Like, I'll clip, and like people say bad things about him, and I'll leave it in the clip, or I'll put that as part of the title. And then people are like, you're going after Melton. I'm like, no, fool. I'm just saying what is in the clip so you know. Like, if it's good about him, it'll be good. If it's bad about him, it'll be bad. Like, it's what they said, not what I said. But if I don't say anything nice about the leader, then, you got the other half coming after you. And, like, that's frustrating. That's the only issue I've ever had with Melton. Other than that, he's been real cool. We've talked a couple times in DMs, like when I was getting in a fight with Kiki and, like, what was the smartest thing to do with, like, fair use and crap like that. And so, like, he was very helpful and he was cool. Yeah, I have nothing against any of these people, But when you say, or you don't go along their line, then, heaven be damned, Katie bar the door, hell breaks loose. It's like, dude, chill,
They all want you to be what they want you to be, but there's so many of them, you can't be what they all want you to be. So you just got to be yourself.
You know what? And I'm cheap. You could buy me off, and I would totally say nice things about you. And so, like, I mean, $1,000, I am your guy forever for like a week or two. But like, seriously, though, like, I'm doing this for free. Like, like, give me a break. And I am not on a team. I'll talk to everybody. I'll be cool to everybody. I'm not on a team. I'm in the middle. There's people I like, but when I do your story, your thing, it's in the middle.
The only team I've been on is I'm on the Ray team, the Shuley team. I
like Shuley. I never had a problem with Shuley either. He was super nice to me. I love KB, the boss. He's not nice things about.
I'm not a KB fan, but that's because I just, I really wasn't. I wasn't thrilled with the Felicia stuff and the way he treats Ray and other people. And it's like I pictured KB like sitting I'm trying to like figure it out. Like, he's in his apartment all the time. There's never any noise anywhere. There's no like other kids. Is there a wife? Is there a life? And I do.
He's got it on lockdown. He knows what he's doing. Like,
yeah,
he'll probably know he's making a bunch of money. Leave him alone. If you hear Dad screaming through the walls, he's not mad at you. He's not mad at anybody. He's mad at Ray, and he probably should be, because Ray is Ray, and you let it go. And I think they get that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I missed about MLC? The closet in the background. I want to see that again. I want to go back to MLC.
I used to like it when the closet, and then he had the screen,
like a mirror or something like that.
The dressing screen to like, and I just pictured his wife being behind it with an axe. Like, go ahead, say something, say something. But
110%.
He's definitely learned how to do podcasting. Like he's really good. He's talented, which is what makes me crazier, because he's so talented. I don't like him, and I still find myself laughing. So
that was never the question. Like, KB is talented. Like, he was talented. He was on Star freaking Surge and lost to Dave Chappelle. Like, the dude wrote for like Saturday Night Live. He's talented. That is not a question. It's how he can get along with other people is what it seems to be. And when he does, sometimes it works well. And when he doesn't, it works well. It makes you go back regardless. When he screams so loud, it blows up the mic. That's awesome, because you're like, you feel his rage because the mic is literally blowing out because he's going bananas, and that is awesome. Right. Like with my experience with him, they tore. I don't know. Did you see the episode when I was on MLC?
That was quite a while ago, right?
Yes, good. I'm glad you did. It was rough.
All right.
Well, I was called very many dirty things and insulted my sexuality multiple times, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, it was funny. The chatters were funny. The super chatters made me laugh. Like, that's a good thing. You want that, And so, like, it was enjoyable. And then, even like he kind of tore me up a little bit, but when the show ended, and like he talked to me for like 20 minutes, and he was like, "Don't be a bitch. Like, you let this kind of thing, get out into your skin. You should never have done that. Don't be afraid of these people. Just be a man. Put your big boy panties on and get to work." And like, he was right the whole time. And even though people were very ugly and mean and whatever, it was all good. They weren't tearing me down to put me under. They were trying to build me up from being a little baby. And like, you're
well,
looking
some of
at
them are trying to tear you down. Will, come
Man,
on,
that's okay.
Like, let's be serious.
I've noticed it's like 2 out of 100, and I'll take those numbers.
I get a lot of shit for being old, for not being a matinee idol, for all sorts of. I don't care. I'm just like,
I'm not much to look at either, man. Like, I
say
can make fun of.
say what you want. No, the right answer is to say, no, you're not bad looking at all. But next time, Will. Next time.
You're a foul-looking human, Schmuel.
So it's yeah. I don't know. The anger gets to me because it just makes me. It'll make me, even though I don't want to, it'll make me angry. It's not directed at me. It's got nothing to do with me. And but I used to love when he did the Sorcerer, Mr. Kill Everything Saturday night shows. I like those. I miss the Sorcerer. We haven't seen him in quite a while.
I go in like doses with it. Like, I can't watch it every single day because you're right. It kind of like not brings you down, but like makes you very cynical and like wanting to go after everything and kind of be meaner than you normally are.
Right.
But it's also good to go back. It's like it's good to go to California for a little while and kind of loosen up, relax. But it's also good to go to New York and tighten up a little bit and kind of toughen up a little bit. It's good to kind of get it. You can't be at both too long or you become a monster. You got to get that balance in there. That's what I kind of see with this little podcast world.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna put this up. So, Mint Diggity, sensitive Schmuel.
Oh,
this
no.
is the problem. This is the problem. I am not sensitive. I am generally a snarky asshole. So I don't, and I work to not be that. And when I listen to KB, it makes me, if I listen to him 2 or 3 days in a row, I can be that guy.
Oh, 100%.
I can be that.
I got a story.
I can be that. Go ahead.
About 2 weeks ago, I was at the Saints game, and because I want to get my audio correct when we're interviewing the team and the players and stuff like that, the coaches, because they come into like an auditorium and you got to set your audio to a malt box and your camera and all this stuff. And the past few times I've done it, there was like a static sound, and I didn't know what was going on. I was able to fix it later in post, but I don't want that problem. So, excuse me, no, that's sexy. Right before the half, on the second quarter, I go into the audio area. I'm like, hey, do you guys mind if I set up my audio real quick, do some tests, and make sure everything's good? And it's not like I'm in the locker room or I'm any place dangerous. I'm just in the area where you interview people. And the guy's like, no, you have to come here after the half. And I was like, okay. And it's just some dude who's like 23, first time he's ever worn a suit, and he thinks like he's in charge of an area and stuff like that.
Right.
Just a freaking kid. And like, I've been, I'm a sports director. Like I'm allowed in all these areas. I'm just trying to make sure that my sound is okay so I can do my job. You know what I mean? I'm not even trying to mess with this dude. He's giving me all this attitude. So I'm like, okay. So I come back after the half, right after the third quarter, right before the fourth. I show up and I'm like, hey, dude, do you mind if I check that audio? And he's like, no, you're late. And I was like, no, man, you said to come in after the half. And he's like, no. I wanted you to come in as soon as the half is over, right before the third quarter. And I was like, what? I was like, no. You had told me to come in after the half. Here I am. It's the fourth quarter. We're after that. He's like, no, that's not what I said. I was like, that's exactly what you said. And like, normally I would have kind of walked away and been like, oh, and be like, no. And like, KB kind of taught you this, like, tell this dude to jump in a lake. I'm like, I could not curse. I could not get ugly. I could not get mean. But I stood my ground and I was very firm. I was like, no, you were wrong. You were incorrect. You said this wrong. And like a police officer showed up and just kind of stood there. Like, it was one of those situations where like, if I push this, I may lose my credential. So I'm just going to kind of back off. But I did not walk away saying you're right, I'm wrong, and that felt good. I did have to walk away, but I'm not going to lose something stupid. But I did tell this dude, no, you're incorrect. You spoke incorrectly. And I said it to his damn face, and it felt so good. It wasn't one of these things where I got home and I was like, oh, I should have said this. I'm driving away like, oh, I should have. No. I said it to his face. And when you can say things like that without cursing or like losing your mind, it's very effective. Very effective.
That's the best part. As we bringing us back to Rob Saul, that's what I was thinking with Rob. Is he doesn't, he just gets so upset that and he's so lost when he's doing it, it becomes ineffective, and then people can jump all over him. And he's been doing this for a long time.
I just feel bad, like the dog thing. Like, what a terrible thing to say. And I asked him this last time that we were together. I'm like, how did this even come out? And he kind of broke down the story and stuff like that. And I was just like, do you ever wish you never told that story? Do you ever, you know what I mean? Like, there's one thing you could take back. Is there something? Is that the one thing? And I think he kind of agreed with me, but I wasn't trying to like pile on because, like I said, Saul's always been cool to me, so I have no beef with these people.
Yeah, he was funny, man. Like the whole story was funny in the beginning about how the neighbor had to jerk off the dog and all that.
Yeah, with the little chin and all that.
But the problem with the Devilverse is you can't give these guys anything because they'll stretch everything out.
Like the minute you start talking about what you're doing with the dog like that, like where in your brain is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell this story. Like, and then they start talking about his cousin and like his wife, and they're like related, and then they're like his cousin's dating the other one. He's just like, oh, Rob, like please, like stop. And he's like, nope, I'm gonna dig a little deeper. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he comes into this whole world with Levy, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
Levy knew all this stuff, and they did a show together. So he thought this would be cool stuff for the show.
Yeah, he was a TSN.
Reveal. And it was even before that. They did a pilot episode for Kumia for Compound Media. Rob, Chris Abels, and Levy, and somebody else was there. I think KB might have even been there. Compound never picked it up, but that's where they got started. It was originally in the Levyverse before moving over to TSN. And it was that show.
There wasn't a Levyverse before TSN, if I remember correctly. I don't mean to like fuck up your flow, but TSN
I think there was.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I think Levy was doing his own thing when Schmuel was doing his own thing, and the two had a fight. I know that sounds not new, but the two had a fight, and they weren't friends. And then Schmuel apparently called Bob, and they made amends, and then they started working together. And that's the way that I remember it. Now, I could be misremembering, but I don't think so.
So like 3 years ago, I knew where they were together.
Right. Yeah. But before that, I think Levy was doing stuff.
Wow.
Levy had a podcast. It wasn't really, nobody knew about it.
That was with making the canned chicken and all that stuff. The beer can chicken.
Well, and then, what do you call it? And even Schmuel back then he was doing his own show, and he was getting 35, 40 viewers.
Oh, wow. Well,
right? All right. So this is the answer, and we'll take this.
Right. Levy had Levy Land prior to TSN, but not have Levy. Oh, Levy Land and then Levy World.
All right. Sorry. So I got the names wrong. So
we're both wrong.
Oh, we're both right.
There you go. I'll take that too.
However
you Stalin to save the day.
However
you freaking nerd, Stalin.
Yeah.
Don't tell Rekieta you know everything. He's gonna beat you and put you in a locker.
Yeah. They did their thing, and then but it was that show that caused all of the membership buying problems at TSN, because apparently Chris Abels was buying viewers.
Right, that was during the TSN
for his show. And then once that came out, that was when he and Saul broke up, and Saul revealed it. Abels explained it, and then Abels' drinking show went from 1,200 people a night to 50.
30.
To 30. Yeah, I don't even know if it's still around.
Yeah. And they have the
And
guy
then
that he has like can't speak or something like that, or he has he's a real stutter. He's a real stuttering stuttering Sean or something like that, right?
Sean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's cool.
I
I
don't
like his stuff.
I don't know who that I've heard of him, but I don't know who he is. I thought he was an old Stern guy. And
Maybe, but he
and I
does
wasn't
really stutter.
most of their universe is old Stern people. I really would. I haven't been involved too much. I think I was more of an Opie and Anthony listener than a Stern guy.
Oh,
So,
cool.
and I remember, I'm old enough to remember when Stuttering John was on Howard Stern, and I don't remember him ever being a big part of it. Like I remember him, I knew the name Stuttering John, but I never thought of him as this integral part of the show. So it's just interesting that SJ thinks now that he was, the most. He was the cornerstone. Without him, there would never have been a Howard Stern show.
Yeah, so like I was never a big Stearns guy. I remember Private
That's the funny
Parts.
part.
I did I think I had Sirius Radio or something like that. I could pick a show up every now and then. But where I was at, it was Buzz Adams in the morning, and that was like the Southwest area. But like listening to John now over the past 4 years, I believe just from hearing him that he was a major part of the show. You know what I'm saying? Like he has convinced me, even though I never watched it, that he was so big into it that he was a pillar in that universe, and that's how good he is at what he does. You know what I'm saying? Like props to him because he knows how to sell himself well. I interviewed him a while back. Do you know that?
How long ago was that?
About 11 months ago. It was January of 2024. It was right after KB was happy about Matthew Perry dying. And he was like, what? Like, yeah, that didn't go well. And then like all these people were like trying to get in touch with him for an interview. And like he didn't really know who I was. So he drugged me along until finally like I sent in some super chats and he answered the super chats that were questions that I wanted. So I mean, I kind of had to pay for the answer, but I got him and I was able to use that on air, which was kind of cool. And then I already had the John interview. So it made it perfect where John was talking about how KB's dad never loved him. Yeah, like in the story, and I was like, yeah.
He mentioned that today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he does it every now and then to try to bring down
KB's dad. Didn't even tell him he loved him on his deathbed, and
yeah, he was trying to make sure that I knew that Carl Hamburger's name was Heberger.
Right. John's done some funny stuff, man. And crazy, like he doesn't think he's going to get caught. But he's telling everybody he was making $80,000 a year as a teacher.
One of my favorite memes.
California posted it. Good.
When John was going on his tour, banging on people's doors and stuff like that, like this summer, and he went to Melton's house. He was like standing up at Melton's house with the radio and stuff like that. Someone had like Melton up top and John in the bottom with like a sniper scope. And then, like the next phrase was John dead, like on the ground. I was like, oh. Like if you think about it, I mean, you never know how crazy Melton really is. I mean, he's like what 6'6" or something like that, 300 pounds. He comes running out there on John. He may tear him to pieces.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, people are strong just because they have weight on them. They just naturally strong. What's up, so thorough, Joe Burrow?
Joe Burrow's here. He's a big guy. My wife is like 5'1" and a small woman, And we went to dinner the first time she met Patrick, and she's like, "That's a big guy." And we share a love of Lexus, the car maker, and I have a Lexus, and I got him in, but I have this. He's got the next size up, and he got in my car in Rochester, and I was like, "Man, is this guy gonna fit?" And some guy in a pickup truck and offer him a ride, and I'm like, "Yeah, maybe you should go there." Did
the car like tilt to the side when he got in?
I don't know. No, it's got great. It's got great suspension.
Oh, good. Good Lexus made.
He's all the shit they say about him. He's really a good guy. He was very nice. He's also whip smart, which is what people miss.
Yeah.
He's
he does this for a living, so I'm sure he's got to be good at what he does. You have to be smart to be funny, I think, or be funny.
Right. Great use. Yeah, he's got a great vocabulary. He's got a great use of the language. But also, like Moody was saying, when he started his podcast, there was no chat. People used Pal Talk. but you couldn't do. It wasn't really live. You couldn't really like Pal Talk. You'd have to talk back to them. You couldn't really chat with them. And Melton wrote a program to develop a live chat within the internet relay. So, no dummy there.
So, I'm gonna take out my. Yeah, I want to. Bro wants to see my back stuff. Hold on, I'm gonna unplug my internet like directly to the unit, but I should be able to pick. Are we back? We good?
We're back.
There we are. Okay, so I'm gonna move around. I'm gonna show Burrow my back art. I feel like Jake Hudson. I did flush my commode though, so it's not all nasty in there.
All right, well, don't dox yourself there.
I can and I will. All right, there's. So that's when I was in the infantry. I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and that's where I got my infantry certificate after finishing basic training in AIT.
Where'd you go to basic?
Benning.
It was also Benning?
Yeah, Benning was it was all guys back then because the girls weren't allowed in the infantry. So that's air assault when I got to the 101st Airborne, and that's the unit that I was with when I served there. And I got my air assault wings there. That's you jump out of helicopters on ropes. That's my unit that I was with the 101st. Let's see if I can show you where I'm at. I am right there. That's me. And this, so like sometimes you do field problems or like exercise and stuff. You do a good job, you do something good.
Right.
And you get it's called a Rockathon recommendation or citation. So basically saying that I did good in like a thing. And then this is just some kind of art. Those are my ranks. I was just a PFC when I was with the 101st. But when I got to Fort Bliss, I was a specialist. So there's that.
I never understood the Army ranks. I was in the Air Force, and it was so much easier.
So that is when I was in KVIA.
How did you get into news? How did you get into doing this?
All right, let me go back. I want to show you one more picture that's kind of cool.
All right, go ahead.
So I don't know who you know if Lester Hughes is. He was a famous oil painter back in like the 80s. He painted for Bush and Reagan and stuff like that. Some of his stuff is still in the White House. But my father, he was from El Paso, Texas, and my father knew him. And like he lent him money, and Lester Hughes was making paintings in order to pay off the money that my father would lend him. So I knew him. He was very eccentric, but he painted this for me specially. He normally would do like Southwest scenes. Isn't that cool though?
That is cool.
It's called the Red Knight. That's an oil painting. Yeah. Kind of a trip. I don't know if you can see those back over there. That's when like when you work in sports and TV, they'll do like magazine papers, like a sheet of you like promoting the sports station. And so like that's what those are, like they're framed. So there you go, Joe Burrow. You wanted to walk, you want to see everything, you saw it. Let's say I've never do anything for you. I'm just kidding. I love Joe Burrow. All the Clippers are cool as hell, man. Like it's like a mafia, I swear to God. When I had my problems like in August and like I was like, oh no, I'm in trouble. Like every freaking Clipper and some other people all were like messaging me. Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? Do you want me to call this for you? I'm like, no, calm down. Like everybody was like in my DMs ready to like go to war. And I was like, no. But yeah, so I'm just saying.
Like, Keanu wishes that you were clipping her more.
Dude, like that could have been so good for her. That would have been like me clipping for her, putting nice things out there, saying nice things about her, promoting her stuff, cheering for her. Like I was Team Keanu. And then she was like, you're ugly. You don't get to clip me. Like, okay. And then like, yeah, you're not allowed to do this. My lawyer's going to get involved. And that like started with Chrissy. Like Frank Pellegrino got that ball rolling. And then like Keanu picked up from Chrissy what Frank did. And like, I kind of don't super blame Keanu. Like she's hanging around people with like 100,000 subs. So she's just trying to learn, and I'd say grift, but I mean, you go to parties like that, it's networking. I'm not against her, and like what I was trying to do with her, I pointed out was networking.
She works with Chrissy though. I mean, that's where, we've gotten to know her from. And her and Gino really thought they were bigger than they were.
Right. Yeah. And they weren't bad. Like they were doing good, but then they just, stepped on their, what, and just kept doing it. Like an apology would have been so fantastic. Like I came out with like 8 videos against Keanu, like back in the summer. Those things blew up. People were sending me money to make more. Like that's how wild it was. And I kind of stopped. Like she was getting married and all this stuff. And like, I don't want to do videos on somebody who's getting married. And, like I don't want their nuptials in the back of their mind thinking about me hating them. You know what I mean? Just, it wasn't a good thing. So like, but later on, that's on. But like, if she would apologize and be like, oh, my bad, it's all good, I would never think about it again. But she left it open-ended. She left it like, I'm this big old badass.
I picture Joe Burrow is clipping that right now. And we're going to see tomorrow. Will says,
I will sue you. If you clip me, you will hear from my lawyer, Sir Joe Burrow. You are in suit, sir. You will hear from my representation. My solicitor will call you. I want your information right now. All of you clippers, every one of you, you're not allowed to clip this.
Oh, I do remember this one where you were weird.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Weird. Yeah, I was weirdly asking for permission and being polite and giving her money. How weird. I wish people would be weird to me and do that. All you weird people give me your money.
Look, their view of this universe was really skewed by Compound. Both Chrissy and Gino. Because they thought Gino was making good money at Compound. Chrissy was making probably decent money at Compound as well. And Keanu was getting some of that.
Right. And Kumi was making none of it. He was losing money.
Right. And, I think it might have been Melton who said
those are good friends.
Gino had no idea how few viewers he had because they held the information so tight that he thought he had a lot more and a lot more pull. But now it's like, he's relegated to Rumble and there's nothing going on there. And but the other part of the Kumia thing,
can you, Joe Burrow?
Kumia did an interview with Chrissy probably before he had his heart surgery, and he basically said this thing wasn't going to last, that the world was changing. And it's like none of those people took that to heart. They were all just continued to show
moderators. We need to get throw Joe Burrow out of here. We need someone here that can handle it. We need Jake Hudson in here to moderate.
You're not allowed to look at the free chat.
Oh, that's right. I shouldn't be reading the pours. My bad.
We can't read the pours. I'm not monetized, and I haven't really tried to get any. So,
you need to.
This is hobby for me. I'm enjoying this. Liam, Liam, right? You know Liam.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know him, but I know who
he
is.
But it's not like a Deitois situation. You do know who.
I know who Deitois is. I mean, we haven't met face to face, but she's a sweetheart. She's been very nice to me, and I like Deitois.
So Liam on Thanksgiving Day, I had asked Liam to come on, and Liam was like, "Oh, we're gonna, maybe in 2025." And Dave and I had done a show where he was being interviewed by Carlos Danger, and we shit on him. And Liam then got me on Ray's show. He came on, and he was like, "Why would you ask me to come on show where you shit on me?" And I'm like, "Well, we'd like to talk to you. I'd like to get to know you." And say, anyway, Liam and I kind of got friendly, or had a detente at least. On Thanksgiving Day, Liam sends me a link, and I'm thinking, "Oh, this is great, Liam." And I really wanted to talk to Liam. I go on the link, and whose face do I see but Jake Hudson's? So I was essentially internet rickrolled, Hey,
don't feel bad. I've done Jake Hudson before. Jake Hudson's a lot of fun, man. He's a good guy. I think I've done Jake Hudson twice.
Oh, really? I only did it that one time.
Chad Zumach said he was coming after me or something like that. So I had to take Jake Hudson off the ledge. I didn't want him to, pull out the big gun.
Yeah.
Hudson's cool. He's been nice to me. I like him.
Jake is not. The only thing I knew about Jake was Aaron from Steel Toe had gotten swatted at some point, and he was blaming Jake Hudson.
Oh my God!
And that was it's got to be a year and a half ago, maybe. And he was like, Jake was the one that gave out the information, and
Good.
I had like, and I'm like, oh, who's this Jake Hudson guy? And then when I saw him, I was like, oh, yeah, I could see how that would happen.
Yeah, don't give Jake your email either. You will get a million emails. Like he like does songs and stuff like that. Like some of them are cool, but like, man, I had to put a folder for Jake and the songs and stuff like that. He gets excited.
Like his walking makes me I get seasick.
Did you see his bathroom? Did you ever see that when he was on the Chili Show?
No, I will pass. Thank you for
that. That's a smart hard pass.
If I live my life never seeing Jake go to the bathroom, it will be having a good life.
Not going to the bathroom, seeing his bathroom.
Oh, really? Is it that bad?
Yeah, no, I would never tell you to watch him go defecate.
Oh,
but
okay.
he showed us his toilet one time, and it was interesting. It was like its own ecosystem. I saw something move twice.
That's like, I went over to a friend's house one time, and I used to go to use his bathroom, and it was worse than any gas station I'd ever been in. And I'm just like, I don't think I've talked to him since. I just was like, ooh, how does anybody live like that? You know?
I took a girlfriend one time to a buddy's house like that, and she goes to the bathroom, she screams, and so I like kicked her in the door. Oh my God! She's like, "Oh, I'm like, oh yeah, I should have warned you about that." You know?
That's part of. It brings us back to Stuttering John a little bit. That's my thing with Stuttering John is, right? He's constantly talking about what a slob he is, but it's really disgusting. Like it's gross. Yeah. And you're like
asking about having threesomes with random girls or what is their vagina, stuff like that. Like he just does it. He's like a wannabe Stern.
Right. But his house is filthy. And he's got I got the cat litter in his bed. And what do you call it? It's like, it's just gross. But the big thing is like, I can see John as a young guy being that crazy drunk guy saying these things, and it's cool and it's fun. But when you get to
go to the pools, I'm sorry.
When you get to, I will. But when you get to 60, it's time to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
So,
look what Stalin said.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Dude, Stalin knows, man.
I don't need that. And I have a pretty strong stomach. And
yeah. So
I too was in Jake. Yeah. Like you, Will, I was in the military when there was no war, but I worked in a hospital and got to do fly in C-130s as a flight medic for a while. It was, I hated it then, but now I look back at it and go, geez, I was 17 when I went in. I could have retired at 37. What kind of an idiot was I?
I was good looking. I was like strong and like a stud. And dude, I was so stupid, so dumb. But I mean, like I said, I got hurt on an Eagle flight. So I didn't really have a choice. And then they were like, well, you can go and work behind a desk. And I was like, you can go fuck yourself. And so that kind of ended the military thing because I wanted to do the G.I. Joe stuff. You know what I mean? Why am I going to be in the military if I'm not jumping out of airplanes? And you know what I mean? Like that was what I wanted to do. But I got lucky because, of course, all the bad things happened after that. So, may not even be here that hadn't taken place. So it just is what it is. I don't mess with
my time was the exact opposite. I was trying to, get away with as much as I could and take it easy. I once got offered a promotion and I turned it down. And the guy who I turned it down to was a job move. And the guy that I turned it down was like, I can't believe you're turning this down. This is like everybody. I'm like, no, I'm happy where I am.
My
big mistake.
He went green to gold, and he went over to Germany and stuff like that. And he was in an artillery unit. And every time I turned around, they just kept promoting him, and he was just happy as a captain in charge of like maybe 150 guys, just in charge of his one battery and stuff like that. But he did well. So as soon as you start doing well, people recognize it, and then you start doing other people's jobs for him. And then they want to promote you. And like, he got out of there right before he was a light colonel and he would just stop, he was done. He had enough. And then he went to work for Chevron. So he did well, of course, but yeah, sometimes, man, You do your job well, and you get to do other people's for them.
Yeah, I wasn't interested. I wasn't interested in doing any of that, and it was whatever. It was amazing. So tell me, what do you think of Ray? Why does Ray think you hate him?
Ray thinks I hate him. Is that what he said?
Mm-hmm.
Ray better watch his little mouth. I'm gonna pick. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't get me. He already told me. Now he's like, don't talk about me.
No. He just makes me so mad. Everything he does makes me mad. It's like he'll turn on the television and I'm mad because Ray did it. Like everything Ray does makes you mad. Like when KB gets mad at Ray, it's like, thank you. Yes. Everything you do is so frustrating. I mean, even from the Rock Bottom podcast when he was with TSN. Do you remember that?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and that whole breakup and stuff like that, that made me mad. I don't know. Ray could be chewing bubblegum and it would torque me off for some reason. But I don't hate Ray, if that makes any sense. But like I also see like the frustration that he puts into Carlos Danger, who is a friend of mine as well. And it does make me angry when people make fun of his size because it's not funny. Sometimes people are around and that's okay. They're called basketballs. Leave him alone. But yeah, fuck Ray.
All right. I like Ray. I think that Ray, I just think Ray doesn't get it. Oops, I kicked my camera. I don't think Ray gets it. And,
we will get it.
He's always behind. Like Dave and I offered him 6-8 months ago to work with him on his show. And Dave is much more technological than I am. But we're going to do clips and things like that.
Like producing and things?
We wanted him to get a schedule. And he just wouldn't do it. He didn't trust Dave. And now I hear him, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to get, more production and more clips. And, and I disagree with him on some things, like with the Sheckler stuff. He thinks that he's going to
sue Sheckler.
He's going to sue Sheckler or whatever. Which I have not heard from Ray, but I know that it's
Sheckler, and he doesn't go after my boy Dr. Chow. Dr. Chow, you can like physically see him. You can't physically see Sheckler. Sheckler isn't even his real voice.
Chow has no reach. Nobody talks about Chow.
He has his own show with Chad. Literally called the Ray DeVito
Show. Do they get 100? Do they even get 100 viewers? They've been doing it forever.
Yeah, but it's getting hundreds of viewers. It's more. It's just as many as Ray gets.
Yeah, but Ray is more well known. Nobody knows Chow, and if they do know Chow, they don't like Chow. Chow did the thing when he came on. It was him and Little Mir.
That's right.
And they had David Sirica on,
and they had Ray,
the money guy. I don't know if they had. They might have had
Ray. Ray got mad.
The three of them doing shows, and I was understanding they were paying people for interviews, and
they paid John.
That never went anywhere. And
Mir was doing music or something like that. Like Mir wanted to do something different, and Chow was doing the Dabbleverse stuff.
Oh, so they did. This is what I thought. They paid Ray for the interview. They paid a bunch of people for interviews. And anyway, that
gave me $100.
But is Mir, alleging that Ray is a grifter? Not Mir, whatever the kid's name is, Chow. Is he alleging that Ray's a pedophile and a grifter and a woman abuser and all that stuff?
I don't want to put words in Chow's mouth, but he doesn't say positive things about Ray. I know that for a fact. I had him say like I don't know if he said pedophile or a pedo or anything like that, but again, I don't know. I don't like throwing those kind of accusations at people and things like that.
No, I don't either.
I wouldn't where we need to go, but that's where it always seems to go. You know what I'm saying? That's just come on,
because they don't have anything. Because there's nothing left, right? It's like
no, you're right. You're correct.
They do the big stuff, and then what happens is the only thing they have left is stuff at the margins, and so
and then they go after your work.
They start throwing. Yeah, and if they go after your work, but your work is successful, then they got to go after you personally. And the problem, my personal opinion about the pedo stuff is, you shouldn't be calling people, even if you.
That's the ugliest thing that there is.
Unless you mean it, unless it's true, because it is
right,
the ugliest thing. And if
Like
you
from the
keep
FBI.
calling people, if everybody's a pedo, then nobody's a pedo.
Right.
And
Well,
it's, it just becomes like there's going to be somebody out there that really is, besides like ESO, and
oh yeah.
somebody's going to say something, and it's going to be like, oh yeah, they're just saying it because they say that about everybody, and
Yeah.
then it winds up just being something with no meaning. And that's my thing. It is horrendous, and it should be treated as if it's horrendous. It shouldn't just be thrown around.
Right.
But
yeah. I think it is a little too fluidly here in this stuff. But some of these people, like, they kind of do it to themselves, like just for the shock value. Like they want that attention by going that low or that wild to make people watch them more. And I don't understand how that works. But it seems too, you do get the views and you do get the subs, but you do cultivate an environment.
I feel like the guys that call other people that wind up losing. They don't have the subs. This is what they're trying to do, that for clout,
like credibility.
Well, like Stuttering John with Shuley and the Shuley thing, and Vince the lawyer, right? Because they're trying to build up their audience and trying to attract people to their side, and it just doesn't. I don't think it works. John has his numbers. John was by the way, John, in the list that we had from Dave, John was number 58. And he had taken in a gross of about 88,000 or 85,000.
Oh, for the year?
For the year.
You told me he made around 200,000 a year. And I did not believe it, but that's what he told me. He told me that, again, January of this year.
I figured net is about 55,000, which is great.
Yeah.
Right? If you can make 55,000 sitting on your couch, what are you
using your mom's credit?
Yeah, but and he bites. This is the thing, is like he gets trolled and he bites. When Cardiff put up the meme of the 440 credit score, and he immediately is like, he's running my credit score, So it's obvious that it's close. Any intelligent person would have just ignored it, or went, that's what it is, and just moved on. But he bit, and then and you can see. I would love to think he's a character. I would love to think that this stuff isn't bothering him, but you can see it's bothering him. They really have tweaked this guy.
He has a PI. That's how much it
his
bothers
brother-in-law.
me.
It was disclosed today. It was his brother-in-law.
Yeah.
His brother-in-law Doug is apparently Dustin.
Oh, great!
From what we found, because that came up with he got pissed off at Vince with the Kate Meany stuff.
BTL is the ultimate troll. He's the most gangsterous of trolls that there is. Next to like Medicare, I think it's like Medicare and then BTL. Like right there.
The thing with VTL being a lawyer is he has access to all sorts of information, and he knows how to get it.
Well, so like if you use those types of information, though, there's a log. So like if you go and check someone's credit score or stuff like that, they can say, why were you checking his credit score? Because checking someone's score brings it down. You know what I'm saying? So you had to have a very good reason to be doing that. I don't think
I think
that unless
I think what Vince has Nexus Lexus and a bunch of other stuff where Vince can pull information without violating any law or regulation. So he doesn't pull credit reports and he doesn't pull DMV records.
Right, because that's a record. It records it, yeah.
Right, but anybody can go online and get court records, tax lien records, all the public information stuff.
Right.
And you don't have to log that.
Sometimes you have to pay for it.
Well, you do have to pay, but that's the thing about being a lawyer is you have a subscription to the service, so it's not like you're paying $80 a pop. Vince does personal injury stuff, so it's like if somebody comes to him with a claim, Vince can look. He'll run the property owner, see what he pay. That's part of his business. So this is just, on top of that, and he does do that. I do like when he's wrong. Apparently, he had outed OJ, but I guess the name is wrong.
Yeah,
I don't understand that, and I don't understand. When I was at Hackamania, I was watching a lot of people asking comedians for their phone numbers. And I'm like, I don't want their phone number. You know, like there's a couple of guys that I wound up becoming friends with, and you know, they give you their phone number, but I'm like, you're not, this isn't friends. We're not friends. This is like entertainment for me. And with a guy like, say, Obnoxious John or Cardiff, I met Cardiff first at Pottstown. So about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. And I would never think of wanting to know the guy's name. Like, why would
If
I?
I could do it all over again, I would be an avatar. Like Stalin and like Joe Burrow, Stephen Bravo, Genta, Mint Diggity. Like if I was smart like they are, I would have done by far, I would have put up an avatar first. Like when I first put on my YouTube, I put it in my first, as you see, it's all in my name. And so I was like, I'm gonna show them who I am because I'm gonna say who I am and there's no hiding behind anything and I'm the stuff guy. That was so stupid. That was so stupid, you know?
Yeah.
Like the people behind with the avatars and the logos, that's smart. For young people out there doing this, don't show your face or make them pay for it or don't show your name. Like make them earn it.
Yeah, I would, yeah, make them earn it. And but whatever. It is, look.
It is what
we
it
get
is.
into
Right.
this,
You know, once you're out there,
you get into this thing and you don't think it's as evil as it is. And it's not just the Dabbleverse, it's the entire internet. You know, I
always wonder, like, is it one person just causing chaos for everybody? Or is it like groups? Like, if you don't like my guy, well, then his guys will come after you personally. Or, you know what I'm saying? Does each major person have their group of people? Like Melton has his goons, you know, MLC has his goons, Carl has his goon. You know what I'm saying? Like, or is there one guy messing him up?
It may be both. You know Moody?
Yeah, I know. Kind of. I know who he is, but I know nothing about him.
So Moody made a comment not too long ago that he was talking about Melton and Melton's show and Red Bar going after him and all this. And Moody was like, it was a very small percentage of his audience that was causing Melton problems. And but he said something along the lines of, but 7 or 8 determined guys
do terrible things. Right. And that's what sucks.
Yeah.
It's like Melton has 1,000 people watching, but 10 of them are going to destroy your life.
Have you had anybody try to mess with your career or anything with this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't want to like tell you about it because then people will do it more.
No, I know. I don't want to.
But yeah. I've had to talk to my station and tell them who I am and what I do and show them my socials and explain to them what the Dabbleverse is, which is fantastic. But now that they know, if anything does happen, then they handle it. Back in like 2017, 2018, I did a story on Magic Gate. And it was like Magic the Gathering. They were like, honest to God, and I checked on the profiles and stuff like that, judges who were convicted child sex offenders. And they were running like card shops and things like that. And they'd have Magic the Gathering tournaments at these card shops that these pedophiles were running. And so, like, I did like this big story on it, and like it kind of went national. And like I had to talk to, like, I think it was Mattel or Hasbro, whoever runs MTG, and then like Kiwi Farms got a hold of it, and like they didn't like that I was going after like one of these pedophiles because they didn't believe that like I had done my research like I did. I went to every single one of the people accused and double checked that there were charges filed and that they were processed. You know what I'm saying? Like I did my research, but for some reason they just didn't think I did, and they called my station about 300 times in an hour. And people were like, Will, what the fuck? You know, and then I had to like go back and explain what Kiwi Farms is and what 8chan is and all this stuff. And so, yeah, they do know how to reach out and touch you, and they will. Well, that's so messed up. You know, like I wasn't doing anything wrong or ugly. And even like with the Keanu stuff, like that was between her and me. You know what I'm saying? Like my boss doesn't need to get involved. You don't need to get a hold of my telephone number and do all those kinds of crazy things like it. But that's what people do when they lose.
It's insanity. Yeah, they go nuclear right away, right? There's no.
Yeah. They make it bad. This should be fun.
I had. I don't know what year it was. Maybe 2017, maybe 2016. I had put a post on Twitter, and somebody tried to report to my boss that I was a racist and all of this other stuff. Unfortunate for them, I am my own boss. So, nothing happened. But I learned from that. And I was like, wow, maybe I shouldn't disclose as much information as I was,
No,
about
no, no.
where
So it's crazy. They're crazy. Like back in 2016, I made a joke about like was it no? Yeah, 2016 when Trump was elected the first time, I believe that was then. And like I made a joke with one of my friends who was like it's like half black, half white, and like it was an off-color joke. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Like it was just something very silly and small. And this dude like waited 4 years until I was at the television station that I was at, called my boss. It was during the BLM and the riots. Called my general manager, called my bosses. They had this whole telephone writing campaign. Like I had to go and sit in front of my boss and explain that this guy is nuts. And like I had to get him on the phone and like record his conversation. And then like his twin brother went nuts and wanted me to like he wanted us to set up like a town hall meeting where this guy sits down and tells me how big of a racist I am and how he's not, and like then he like went nuts. We had to ban him and block him from all the social medias and stuff. Like people just lose their what, and they have nothing better to do but that. And or they have some people just have resources. Their wife is rich or their husband's rich, so they don't have to work, and their work is destroying you. So and I go with that.
Yeah,
In the media,
that's
when people get mad at you and they disagree with your story, and so they come after you personally because you told the truth. Like I've seen it in all kinds of ways. People are just garbage.
no, I agree. Most of them aren't. That's the thing, Like I don't want to
When you're
become
doing
so,
your job, when they come after you.
yeah, I don't want to become so paranoid that I'm KB, but
Well,
at the
doing
same
this,
time,
you gotta-
a little paranoia is a good thing.
I
Right.
I used to like to do live streams, believe it or not. Like when I first kind of started, like getting big in the Dabbleverse, my stuff blew up. And like me and Dr. Chow were doing a stream together like every week. And I noticed I put myself too vulnerable out there. When you go live, like in my real life, when I'm on regular television, I explain to people going live is like jumping off a building. Once you jump, you can't jump back up. You've jumped. Now you land on
Right.
your feet or you splatter. It's up to you. So, you can get lucky. I can do 2 minutes on television live and not say something stupid. Now, brother, we can go an hour and a half and who knows what's going to come out,
Right.
Like I've been drinking,
Well, that's what
you're smoking.
this
Like
is what
anything
this
could
is
come
what I
out. You could drop a hard R, Like
Yeah, I'm smoking the old cigar. I'm good. I'm old enough and live
Of
long enough
course.
that hopefully
Same.
the old hard R will never
Well, not
Cross
even
my
that.
lips
But
because
but
I've
you're
learned so.
older. You think differently. You think kind of an older thought. You may say something that to you isn't racist or bad now
right.
because you're older. And I'm not just insulting you for being, more experienced. You know what I'm saying? I'm 45 and I still worry about what I say just in case it's going to come out. And you know what I mean? Like being on TV.
No,
Like
I
you never know.
agree with you.
It changes.
I'm lucky enough that all the people that I work with are all minorities from South America and places like that. And so it's like I ask questions. And what's hilarious is you find out that you're worrying about saying something and they're not. And the neighborhood where my business is has changed over the years. So I'm like the last white guy.
Mm.
And people
Reverse
always,
gentrification.
they ask my my assistant who's Puerto Rican, they ask her, is like, who's that white boy that always walks around without a coat?
Eres un gringo.
It's very interesting. So, but yeah, I guess maybe, I don't know what it is, but I'm really sensitive to these guys. Like I listen to people say who are like, oh, that's not racist. And I'm like, no, it's pretty racist.
Yeah. Oh, I shouldn't say that, Dad. No. Yeah. My dad was like that too. I'd be like, ooh.
But I'm talking about people, these are people younger than me. These are people in the Dabbleverse.
Oh.
And particularly this sort of right-wing Twitter thing, the Trump bros.
It's different. It isn't so much racism as they want to shock you. You know what I mean? They want to, I forgot what the term is, where it's like, oh my God, they're so awesome because they're saying something so crazy. But in 10 years, when they can't get a job, they're going to be like, oops. It's like
Well,
getting a neck tattoo.
That was my argument with Gino, was that he's like throwing the N-word around and all this stuff. And it's like free speech. And I'm like, that's not really what free speech is, right?
Yeah,
like
it doesn't work that way.
But we have like, however many words, hundreds of thousands of words in the English language. you could find another one. That's what people do. That's what creative people do. So that's why I think that I get very Gino has I got so frustrated with him. And I went to his show last year. He and Chad did a show in Atlantic City.
So you're on the East Coast, I assume, and I'm trying to dox you. But like
no, I'm in Hoboken. It's fine. So I'm in Hoboken. And I live a town away from right near Mr. Brennan. And I see him in his little yellow helmet and pink sneakers riding his bicycle.
You won't get him?
No. Occasionally I'll yell Kevin. And I think he'll like turn his head. But he's funny because he said today he doesn't wear sunglasses when he rides, right? He doesn't wear glasses when he rides the bike. The main street in Hoboken is Washington Street. And I swear to God, he drives out. He just looks like a serious man. Like, he's not a guy who wants, but he observes everything. But he looks like he's just taking it all in. Like he's going to go home and write notes. He's so serious looking. But
he does. He takes pictures of the super chats and stuff like that. Like, I wonder if he's using that for like material, or if he's actually like counting up how much everybody tips him and gives him. So at the end of the year, he can like know who are the big ballers, or you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder what he does.
I always thought it was because he didn't really know how to use the internet. So by taking pictures of it, he had a record, like he could remember it, because otherwise he wouldn't remember it. He didn't know how to go back.
Right. Well, he takes him down from YouTube. So does it still show up, I guess, on the Patreon stream?
I don't know. I don't know. I would think it would, but what do I know? But he also says he doesn't watch his own shows. So
we do a show every day for like 10 years. I wouldn't either. I don't like watching myself back when I do my stuff. I was there. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to see it.
I hate watching myself, but I do it because I'm trying to get better at this, and it's the only way.
That's smart.
It's the only way to do it. And I'm looking at myself, and I have the lighting that I have is really crappy, so it makes me look like I got a giant red nose.
Yeah, like a floating head.
And a brilliant red face, yeah, and a floating head. But this is the issue with being in Hoboken. I go, I wind up having to do this from 3 different places. So if I get back late today, if I get back late, it's rush to try to set up.
Gotcha.
And in the beginning, I was so paranoid about my appearance that I really cared. Now, I don't care so much. As a matter of fact, the insults on here that I got actually got me to go to a doctor because somebody was making a comment about my face. And I was looking at this thing in the mirror and I'm like, I don't know what this is.
They're right.
And it turned out they are right. I had like a precancerous thing that had to be taken off.
Wow.
So the Dabbleverse saved my life.
Wow. They try to take my job. They save your life. I'm not doing this right.
So it is, so he can refer to them easier.
Right.
I give him credit for the one thing I give credit for to Kevin is he doesn't really care what he looks like. Like, people were making fun of him for taking pictures of the super chats, and they were like, look at this old man. He didn't give a shit. He just kept going.
Yeah, he laughed all the way to the bank.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he wouldn't care either.
His number, I think Shuli's number was like 265K, and his was like 225. That's a lot of money. It's gross. Yeah. But it's a lot of money. Like,
it all goes to him.
It's hard to believe. Well, he does give it out to other people.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're right. You
said he does pay his guests. But, people forget. His big thing when he started doing this was because at Kumia, at Compound, they were only giving them like $100. That's what started the podcast. Right. I mean, he'd done
to drive in there and then leave.
He'd done all that other stuff. And then they were giving him $100. Then they asked him one day to fill in for Anthony. And E-Rock said, "Oh, we'll give you your regular," which was like $100. And that set Kevin off. And then Kevin went and did this on his own, and everybody told him he was going to fail at it. And here we are, 18 months later?
I
And
think it's more than that. Like, when did he have those? Like Louis C. Gomez, he had like a couple of co-hosts before for him. Oh no, it was Burning Bridges before it was MLC,
right.
right? Okay, but
I'm
he was
talking about just the podcast on his own from his house.
oh, okay. Yeah, he
was
would go into a
always in a
studio for those other ones.
He was always in a studio before, and he had like, but he's funny because he had to deal with. I think he had to deal with Legion of Skanks that bombed. He had to deal with Bob Kelly, and they got into a fight. And Kevin winds up fighting with everyone that he's friends with. So, you know, if you don't want to, but I guess it's like, you know, that old thing: if you can't stand the heat, stay out of the kitchen.
Very, very true. Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
kind of know what you're getting with Kevin, kind of thing, you know. And I don't know Kevin. How much of the thing, like I know the guy, I just from watching and what I've observed.
Yeah, right.
Dealing with him, it was cool to me, you know. But like, I reached back out to him, and he hasn't gotten back to me. And I'd definitely go back on. I'd love to get yelled at by him some more. It's a lot of fun. I like hanging out with Stevie Lou and Chad and everybody. It was a lot of fun.
I've never been asked, and Stevie Lou has blocked me.
Oh no!
Don't talk to me anymore because I was on a show, and somebody was like, "F, marry, kill," and I don't remember who I picked, but the last to kill was Stevie Lou.
Oh.
And I said, because who cares? And then the next thing I know, he was like, you know, fuck you, and blocked.
Stevie was cool, you
know, so, and now so I just, look, I don't want to keep you on forever. So we'll head towards wrapping it up. But I do want to go back to this. Because I want to talk about the Carlos and Sheckler and all that stuff. The thing with Ray and Sheckler is if I had Sheckler coming after me the way that he goes after Ray, I would be upset too. But the answer is not. I don't think that there's anything defamatory in there. I don't think you can sue him. I think he's got a lot of leeway. So I think the answer for Ray is for Ray to get more content up and then drive Sheckler down in the rankings. Because what happens now is if you go in and put in Ray's name in YouTube, you're going to get KB, you're going to get MLC, you're going to get all these other things. Rock Bottom is like 4th or 5th on the list. Right. And so that's and I think for a lot, that's what I think Melton understands that. You know, that right. You have to get your content out there. And it's with SEO and stuff, you're trying to drive it to you. It's like Stuttering John. If you go in and put Stuttering John's name in Google, there's going to be a page full of Shuley and Uncle Rico and WATP.
Stalin, he's not going to Joe Burrow.
Right. Joe Burrow, Doom.
Don't like Doom. Yeah.
You know,
man.
Right. And so I think it's more about how Ray handles it as opposed to what Sheckler's saying. But somebody said, and I thought that was pretty interesting, Ray complained that he's been losing shows because of Sheckler's videos. But
no one cares about Sheckler, the comedy scene. You know what I'm saying? These clubs are like,
yeah, but it's Sheckler. But it's just as likely he's losing stuff for going on MLC as it is for the Sheckler stuff.
I agree.
Now,
giving Sheckler ammo.
The Sheckler stuff is, personally, if I had to watch that about me, I'd be, I would make my blood boil, and I get it.
Yeah.
But what's the answer to it, right? Like, how do you handle it? That's the question, right? And that's where I think Ray's been going wrong. But as far as being in the Dabbleverse or out of the Dabbleverse, once you come in, the Dabbleverse is like the old joke of if you have a tiger in the basement, you decide when to play, the tiger decides when you stop. Right, and that's what happened with that. That's exactly what happened. Right. And I often tell Ray, I'm like, you don't want to be in the Dabbleverse, but you're in the Dabbleverse. If you go on KB's show, you're in the Dabbleverse. So
take advantage of it. Use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's getting all of this free promotion. Be good. Do good. Take advantage of it. Use it for your positive momentum in what you're doing. You know what I mean?
And I've actually
seen dance.
I've seen Ray do stand-up. Ray's a pretty good stand-up.
I've never heard those words put together, but I'll believe you.
Have you ever seen his stand-up?
A couple times. Not a person, just what I've seen through YouTube and stuff like that, and people's clips.
he's what they used to say in basic training. You know, in the Air Force, it was clean, dry, and serviceable, and that was the standard by which everything was judged. Your gear and stuff. And I just always thought, like, he's serviceable. I mean, he's not going to be Bill Burr, right? It's not going to be, but he's good. He's good enough. He's personable.
I would say he's a comedian. Definitely. He's a real comedian that knows how to like get up there, work the crowd, talk to people. I would even say he could riff. Maybe he could defend himself from a heckler and stuff like that. Like, I do believe these things 100%, but he doesn't handle it well afterwards. And then like he's got like a mental issue. Like all these problems that he's having, he brings on himself and he does it publicly. And like what a 50-year-old would do, he does what a 20-year-old would do, or a scared 30-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like bringing a pink blanket with you through a hotel in a laundry basket. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, it's like, it's not the pink blanket, right? It's the way he responded to the pink blanket.
Okay. And I'm getting mad about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because my feeling is like, yeah, I got a fucking pink blanket. It was on sale. I'm a comic on the road. I sleep in my car.
Yeah. I agree.
Like,
so like my nickname, TV's Will Heron.
Right.
I didn't name myself that. That was people making fun of me. When I used to go on Discord like in 2016 and stuff like 2017, and back when Discord was a thing, and you'd hang out with friends and you do your shows that way. Everybody knew that I was a reporter. So one guy would call me TV's Will Heron all the freaking time. And I said, dude, my name's Will. Just call me Will. That's all you got to do. Before I knew it, everybody in the Discord had a TV in front of their name. And that's when I realized I'm fighting an uphill battle. Lean into it. I leaned into it, and now it's my nickname, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a blessing. They gave me that nickname, and it's a good one. You know, people don't understand. They think I'm like trying to like sound better, be better than you. I'm not. It was given to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what's really
good.
Yeah.
Good.
That makes me how I got to know who you were.
You just got my lore from my name.
I was reading your stuff. You would write, I guess your news outlet or whatever, there would be a story, and it would be by TV's Will Heron. And I was reading that stuff. This is, long before I knew who you were or anything. And then one day, Carl on WATP mentioned, my friend Will Heron, TV's Will Heron. And I was like, Carl knows who this guy is. So I knew of you before that from some stories you had done.
Yeah, with the television station, like real stories, like real life.
The Gulf Coast. Yeah, I love the Gulf Coast. That's where I served in the military there. That's where I sort of came of age. I was a 17-year-old nerd, and I loved it down there. And so it's like,
well, I'm a little more north. I'm on the border, but it's the borderland. Like think Mexico, New Mexico, and Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish we had water. Like the Rio Grande, that was our thing. And the Rio Grande's never has water in it.
So where is your station? Like, where are you, if you don't mind saying, where are you like headquartered out of?
I'm the sports director at News 15 in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're News 15 KADN, the NBC and Fox affiliate.
Oh, you can do both?
Right. Yeah. Some stations, they have two of them. We're Fox, and we're also NBC as well. We're owned by Byron Allen.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when TV used to go off at night?
Yeah, of course. And they play the national anthem, and then it'd be like.
I used to, after basic, I went to Shepherd, which is in Wichita Falls, Texas. And I came from New York, and we had 24-hour TV for the most part. And like the news would end at 11:30, and they'd be like, good night.
Yeah, they would play the national anthem, and then like the TVs would turn off.
The World Today, and they had the old Indian logo.
Oh yeah, I remember that. You know what tripped me out when I was in basic training? Between basic training and AIT, we got like a day off, and it was all at Fort Benning, so we didn't have to leave and go anywhere. We just stayed there. So I went and I saw The Water Boy there in the theater because it was like 98, right? And before the movie, they played the national anthem, so we all had to stand for the national anthem and then watch the movie after that. That's
was that on base? Was that on base or off base?
It was on base. So I get it, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm old enough that I saw, I think it might have been Tommy. And they did the same
Tommy
thing.
C?
No, Tommy the movie
Oh, Tommy Boy.
with Elton John. No.
Oh, Tommy. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Tommy. And
You are old.
I don't remember what, because we would get really old movies, and they would do that every time. They would play the national anthem, and you all had to stand up, right? And if you had a girl in the theater, you had to be, your PDAs had to be minimal.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Your boy seeing your chick, they're all gonna hit on her.
So yeah, it was whatever. I just I was lucky because we had a lot of women were in the Air Force, and but I had I went into basic training and I had a girlfriend at home.
Oh,
and
I
thought, I'm gonna be married and have children with her and everything else. And I just turned down so many people that were interested in dating me at the time. And of course that girl wound up, dear John. Yeah.
I remember sitting on a bunk with a buddy who got his letter from his girlfriend. He was like, "Oh, come check this out." And like, he sit with him, and it was "Dear Josh, I'm banging your brother." And I was like, "Oh, this isn't good." And instantly tears started to fill up, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back over to my bunk and read my letter."
I saw it. There was at least one guy, maybe two, that left basic because of that. Because they couldn't get over it.
Oh. Like I said, it was all dudes. There was no women. Like I saw one woman for 3 months straight, and it was this one lady that worked in the armory, and she was not hot. You know what I'm saying? So she was strictly like a person that gave you your weapon.
Back when
females.
When I went through basic, Air Force basic was 6 weeks, and then you went to Shepherd, and I was in a hospital squadron. So there were a lot of women, comparatively speaking, right? So there were a lot of women, and one of my friends met his wife there, and also, if you go to my
YouTube channel, you'll find my basic training AIT video.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it. It was a VCR, and I got it digitally recorded and uploaded onto my YouTube channel, and I put timestamps when you can actually see me.
Wow. Yeah, I can't find any of my stuff. I had it. After I got off active duty, I went into the active reserves, and I was living with a girlfriend, and I met another girl, and that girlfriend took all my stuff and threw it all out, including my flight gear, which cost me $1,000.
Yeah, once you mess with the equipment, CIDs are not going to be happy, and
they were not happy with me. When I got out. Oh man. But anyway, those were fun times. Hey man, I'm really glad we got a chance to talk.
Hell yeah.
And this was great. Is there anything you want to plug or
no? If you want to you want to see clips, go to TV's Will Heron's YouTube channel. I'm there. I think Will Heron on Twitter. I have a Ko-Fi, stuff like that. So if you want to throw me a couple bucks, I'll take them and I'll buy some beers with them. And I'll drink them.
Do we have? Yeah, if you want to put your Ko-Fi in the chat, that's great. If we have a couple of minutes though, can you tell me what the latest Rekieta stuff is? I see you're big in that.
Oh man, so what exactly do you want to know about the old Nicky Rax? What are you thinking?
Where are we today with him? I guess we're waiting for him to get his plea deal.
So basically. I've spoke with him a little bit. I'm not going to try to get into that too deep, but I've had communication with him. I've talked to pretty much everybody. He's looking at about 5 years for probation. He definitely does not want that. He's very upset. I can't really, because like I talk to him in the DMs a lot, and he tells me so many things, but I can't tell you. You know what I'm saying? And it's very, very
frustrating. Right. I got it.
Because he tells you some stuff, and I'm like, I want to do a show. I could do multiple videos on what he said to me, but I can't because then that would, break the confidentiality that I give him. Then I give anybody that goes into my DMs. You know what I'm saying? Unless you attack me and then say you said this and you didn't and stuff like that, then you don't ever have to worry about me. But, I keep that on the down low, and it's just wild. He's having trouble trusting people, but then he talks to everybody that source that told Aaron stuff was right. Nick told him all those things. So Nick is talking to a lot of people, and I worry about that because obviously he talked to the wrong person, and I'm not on anybody's team again. I'm not on Team Nick. I'm not on Team Aaron. I'm not April, Kayla, anybody. I'm in the middle. I just want to tell the story and get out. You know what I'm saying? So right now, it's basically Nick deciding on the deal. I believe it's the 25th when they have the next hearing. And then that should put him to bed on what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. I think Kayla and April have a hearing, one each possibly in between, when they decide on what their deal is going to be and what they're going to do. Nick had talked about, I don't know, again, this is kind of, I think he wants to take the blame for some stuff. He's going to try to, at least. Right? I don't know. I don't know much about it, but I know he doesn't want April and Kayla to take all of the blame. I don't think he's going to try to push it on them. I do believe he's going to try to do the right thing. If there is a right thing in this, and I don't know what it is, okay? You know what I'm saying? But I think he just wants to get done with this stuff and get back to normal life. But yeah. With Aaron, those guys, like, they hate each other. And, like, it's a real hate. It isn't like, oh, I hate Buckman. No. They hate each other. Like, that's something that'll never be cured, I don't think. So,
well, Aaron is a scorned lover. I mean, right? Like, his wife and everybody was.
So that's the thing, though. Like, I agree with you. It's like he got kicked out of the polycule, right? That's what you're going to kind of say.
Right.
But also in Aaron's defense, and in what he is saying is that he wanted out of the polycule because of all the drugs that are being introduced. And so when the white was everywhere and stuff like that, and it was being left around, Aaron was worried about that getting back to his ex-wife, who would then cut the connection he has with his children. And that scared Aaron, which it should, which is smart. And then I guess he left his wife with Nick. But one thing that Nick did kind of tell me, and it like made a lot of sense, because I was wanting to know where April is. Does she live next door still? Is she still in the community? Did she go back to her parents? I asked those questions to him, and basically he said that he can't give me any information on that because when she was living next door, and people knew that, people were actually coming over to the house, and they were scary. And so, he's trying to protect her and protect the family, and I understand that. So,
and he had when the house was up on the market, right, and they put the real estate photos up, people were examining the photos, looking at stuff in the bathroom,
as they do,
assuming that April had a smell because there was a feminine hygiene product there.
Right, that's what people do. And I get it, but
I've been sort of Team April since day one in this. And
I don't know if I'm on a team, Mike.
Only because, well, of all the people involved in this, I just feel like she's the least culpable for like, I think Aaron is a piece of shit, and I really just feel like
I don't think there's a winner out of all of them. I think
there's no winner, but if anybody comes out of this unscathed, she would be, or able to build a life after. She would be that would be my choice. I would think that she would do it.
I know you do too, but I want them all to have a good life and stuff, of course, and rebuild and the American comeback story. I don't feel bad for April, though. I think she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was getting involved with. I'm not saying she had ulterior motives, but I don't think Nick's success and fame was something that slowed her down from wanting to be with Nick. You know what I'm saying? If Nick wasn't a 500,000 subscribed YouTuber, I don't think April would be that interested in him. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean? I don't think she was abused in all of this. I think she knew what she was getting into. She got into it. I'm sorry it happened. And I don't want anybody to catch a charge, but you know what you were doing, dude. You're there with all this stuff, with kids and stuff like that. And I don't want to get into the whole kids thing. Do not go there because that's
right. But it was I feel like the Dabbleverse, particularly, and Kiwi and all the other people involved, very prudish attitude towards this. I mean, swingers are not uncommon, right? People who use drugs are not uncommon. And, all of a sudden she becomes a coke whore and a this and a that. And, and I really dislike Aaron's talking shit about her while this is going on.
It's not very classy.
You're not a good guy in this. You don't have, totally lacks class. And he shot his wad when he went on Keno Casino and just spilled all the beans, right? He had a momentary hit. He made some money, and then that was it. And then the rest of the time is Aaron acting like he's the good guy. And he's
right, because he said sorry. People. Right. And he came clean, so he's scot-free. I think it was kind of the idea behind that. But he also admits that he didn't come out of it clean. You know what I mean? He did catch a charge, but the charge he got for the child, no, excuse me, not the child, but the
revenge.
Exactly. What a stupid ass charge to. What are you thinking sending a picture like that live while you're doing your show on the internet? Like it's not being recorded by everybody. You know what I mean? Like
right, thinking? But he comes across as the guy who acts like I'm right, and I admitted I was wrong, and therefore everything should be wiped away.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I'm a 12-stepper, and one of the things is that, you admit, right? Admitting you were wrong is only part of the process. The rest of it is making amends, right? You have to do the work. And then
yes,
the big part of it is,
it isn't just you say sorry.
We don't just forget about it. We don't, right? And like this blaming other people for it, to me, it's bullshit. That's what a kid does. It's not what a man does. A man accepts responsibility for it. A man says things like, yeah, I shouldn't have gotten her involved in this.
Yeah, and on top of that, though, he's also doing a show, and the show is for profit, and it's also content for the show. I'm not excusing it. I'm just saying, like, this is probably part of the logic behind what he's doing, right or wrong.
Right, but it doesn't appear to be, I don't know whether it's helping him or hurting him. I mean, he's certainly making more money in the past. But, I don't know, man. I feel like he'd be better served having kept his mouth shut. A little bit of information here, a little bit of information there. And then when it's all wrapped up, he really could have capitalized on it.
I think that's what Nick's planning on doing.
And we wouldn't look at him like the piece of shit that he is. Because I think, exactly. I think what's going to happen is when this ends, Aaron's going to be left in the dust, and Nick is going to be the guy that everybody
Nick is going to take off the gloves, and then Nick is going to go at him with everything he's got.
They're trying to get Nick to Hackamania.
Nick can't leave Minnesota. I don't know how that's going to happen.
Well, not right now, but, he could, and, he might be after this.
We'll have to ask the state. If they give him permission, he can go, good for Nick. Yeah, that'll be, in June? Or when is Hackamania, the next one?
May. It's Mother's Day weekend.
Okay, yeah.
But I laugh because it's like Aaron with, saying to Nick, he should be in the town square admitting all of his faults. Yeah, right? Having the people throw apples at him. But when the revenge porn stuff came up, it's no big deal. That's different, right?
I don't understand how you're friends with these people afterwards. How are you having Gino and Keanu back on your show after they just gave you a charge?
Right.
Schmuel, if you gave me a charge, like next time you see me, we might be knuckling up. It's not going to be like, let's have a show together. It's going to be like, I'm going to punch you in the face.
You don't have to
at me like.
And Gino's like, I'm not going to lie. You don't have to lie. You don't have to talk, though.
Yeah, just shut up.
Right?
You didn't have to answer that phone. You could have said, crank call. You could have.
Right. Or you could have said, I'm busy right now. I have to call you back.
I don't know what picture you're talking about. You could have said that. You could have said, I'm not talking to you. Bye. But he did.
Do you know the whole Pat Dixon thing with Gino? Do you know about this?
Of course, the punch in the face.
Punch in the face. But the deal is that Gino insisted that Pat be charged. And Gino's like, I didn't do it. The district attorney did it. It was the state of New York that did it. But and I know, the old term is no face, no case. Right? If Gino hadn't pursued it, hadn't kept supplying information, it all would have gone away. But Gino is bent on, the politics of destruction. He wanted to destroy Pat for doing that. Just like he tried to destroy Ray for the show that they did. So you know about, I don't know if you know about that, but Gino goes after two people, particularly Pat and Ray. Gino did a show during COVID and he got up on stage. Ray ran long. Gino went up next. Gino hard R, and the lights were turned off
Right.
at the same time. So the question is it turned out that it wasn't, that it was just they were done. The girl who had let the show run, her parents didn't want it happening at night because they were going to get in trouble for this. But he accused Ray of saying that it was because Gino said the N-word. But a lot of people thought that. So it's not like it was just Ray. He was just sort of confirming what other people say. But Gino has had to have gone after Ray now for the last 3 years, calling the stand, trying to get his gigs canceled. It's childish. It's just childish behavior on these guys. So, I would hope that if you punched me in the jaw unexpectedly, we would be able to settle it on our own and not through the court system.
But if you punch me in the face, I'm going to punch you back. That's kind of like how I do my business. I'd be like Giant and I'm going to lose the fight or something like that. I get that. But like the thing, and like me and OJ disagree on this. OJ thinks it wasn't a sucker punch. It was a sucker punch. He walked up and just clocked him. Even if this guy doesn't like you, you should never be expected to be punched in the face unless you said something terrible at that moment. Like you say like the N-word to like a black person to his face and you get punched in the face. Like you couldn't expect that to happen. But from the video that I saw, Aaron just Dixon came up and just pow, cracked him. That's a sucker punch.
Yeah. I'm not saying that Pat wasn't wrong. I'm not saying that Pat didn't do something wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, how much repentance is required before Pat can get his life back? That's my, that's my question.
That's a good one. I don't know. That's up to Gino and his broken jaw.
Right.
If your jaw was broken, how long would you want the guy who made you suffer for, I don't know how long Gino suffered for. How long do you think?
Except there was never evidence entered that his jaw was broken.
Oh, well, I'm going with what I've been told. I wasn't there.
No, I know. I've been sort of intimately following this.
Okay.
And the end how they determined what they were going to do was Pat's defense team had asked for medical records showing the broken jaw and that stuff. They didn't get them. And then that's when the plea deal was worked out.
Oh, wow.
So
it's like having to get an attorney to do that too. That's cost money. And I remember all those trips that Pat had to go back and forth. Like that's miserable, dude. That is hell. It really is. Like Pat paid. He did.
Oh, he paid, and he's still paying because it's you get that reputation. It's very like your comedy club. There's a million comedians. Even if you're good, who's going to want you if there's a risk of something happening?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Nobody. Right. So it's tough. And, if you got somebody who keeps pushing it, it's very hard to come back from that. So hopefully Pat will. I like Pat. I like Pat a lot. So, and I saw, it's funny. I saw Pat, I think in August maybe or September up here in New Jersey. No, it was actually in July because the comedy club that he was performing at was closing at the end of the month. So he's really good and he's really talented.
Yeah, he's very quick. You're talking about fast-witted. I agree.
Right. And it was I'd love to, and I'd love to see him.
I was going to be on a show.
I would like.
He invited me on. I was going to go, but the Raging Cajun basketball coach was about to get fired, and then he won the game, and then he got fired. So like all week, I couldn't give Pat the time because I didn't know if I was going to have to run back to work or if I was going to have to have a crazy day the next day. So I had to like pass. But hopefully this coming week I'll be able to hang out with Pat if he'll have me.
Yeah, I hope that you get to do Pat's show. Pat's a good guy.
He's funny.
And and he's been I've enjoyed the stuff he's been doing with Stuttering John. I know it makes people crazy, but I think that's part of what Pat does. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
In any event, my friend, anything else you'd like to finish up with? Or
no, I'm good.
Will, it was great meeting you and getting to talk to you. And next time I will have more specific questions and we'll follow a flow a little bit more. But
That's
this
cool,
was
man.
fantastic, and it's a small crowd, but hopefully, we apparently have disappointed numero uno
That's
Josh Denny fan the entire
easy to
night.
do.
So we
He
know we
seems
were
upset always.
successful. We accomplished the mission that we set out for.
What was the
So
mission? How many did we get concurrently? I didn't see.
I don't.
What was our
9?
biggest numbers?
I don't know. I'm looking at 27
Oh,
on
cool.
on
Right
my
now?
screen, but hopefully we'll get. I would imagine since we had the
Hey, that's
Stalin
Kiki numbers. All right. She's got a
and
deal.
Dilbert.
We did good.
Yeah, come on. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Oh, I have.
I looked up the company and I couldn't quite figure out what they were doing, but all I kept thinking was it was like
I tried to
reminded me
register.
of like
I wanted to be in it. I reached out to him.
Amway
He
or
didn't get back to me.
Shapley. I
Yeah, I
just
think it was one of Kiki's
sounds like
friends.
some MLM, and then I heard E-Rock is involved with the company,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
thought KB's line about E-Rock's involved with that company, so it's shit or
Yeah.
something along those lines. I just thought that was so funny.
Yeah, like I said, I
But,
tried to get on it, but they blew me off. They were not interested, even though my numbers are better than hers.
I wonder, yeah, well, maybe you didn't pay enough.
Oh, that's
You know?
probably. I'm probably not friends with
And
you.
so- I own a business, and
Which is a good thing.
one of the phone calls that we get all the time is like, "Oh, this is so and so from like Lifetime or the Hallmark Channel or whatever." We're doing a show where we want to focus on local businesses, and you're like, "Oh, okay, great, and then you find out they want you to pay for it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, that's not
And
a show.
That's what I thought that podcast network was.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't think they pay, but they're just a part of it. But then they might pay though. Or they pay a percentage of what they make, or I don't know.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I don't know either. But how much could you make if you have 35 viewers?
Right. How much do you take out of that?
Right.
Like, I'm taking $3 out of your 5. Like you and your mom can split it.
Yeah. Be like you tapping Will Heron's money that he sent you for clipping.
Yeah, right. Get out of that.
Clip.
Yeah, that $5.
He gave us $5.
I'd given her like 15 too, like for like 3 clips. And I was like very polite. Like it was such a good thing. She would have made so much money off of that by people watching the clips and staying with her and liking her. And like she was looking good in the clips too. Like she was coming out clean and like the good guy, the good girl. And then she just totally took the wrong advice and it blew up spectacularly.
It blew up bad. And,
wonderfully. I was
man,
scared, dude. I thought I was going to get in trouble. Like I thought I was going to get fired. Like, yeah. And she'd call me at a real bad time. I just got back from New Orleans. I was tired. It was a long day at work. And then I dropped the poo-poo word.
And it's frustrating when you do that, right? You do something that you think is like, you wouldn't even think that. You didn't think there was any possibility it was wrong. You asked for permission.
And got it. And gave her money.
And got it.
Yeah.
And, it's like it's unbelievable. But like I said, I think that their thing with Compound had them thinking that they were better positioned than they were.
They had lawyers and stuff like that.
And she really missed an opportunity. And I think Frank and Chrissy are known for cracking down on clippers and people.
Yeah, it's Frank. Frank's doing messages. He messaged me.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Like, get out of here,
right,
man. We gotta go.
Let's go,
Nice
and
talking to you.
we're gonna make numero uno Josh Denny fan by saying good night. Thank you so much, Will. It was great talking to you.
Nice, you guys. Thank you for having me on. Shout out to all the Clippers and the viewers. Thank you for watching.
Thanks, guys. Really
Later, buddy.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That was Will Heron, and thanks so much for joining us. And it was great, and we'll be seeing you again soon.